Hey crafty friends, I'm so excited to share this card with you today. It is just beautiful and so easy to create. It is great to use your pattern paper for. It is great if you want to keep it simple or you want to jazz it up. Let's head down to the crafting table and let me show you this beautiful card. This is called a double envelope flap. Now look at this. Just wait. Are you ready? The big reveal. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Now we're going to discuss this one a little bit later, but let's get busy and start making it. We're going to make 2 cards together today. So the first thing you need to create this beautiful double envelope flap card is just a regular piece of cardstock. Now we're going to bring in our Stampin' Up! Trimmer. And we're going to extend the arm, and on the long side, we're going to cut it to 10 3/4. That's just a little bit that we're cutting off. Next, we're going to turn it on the short side, and we're going to cut at 5 1/2. Now we're going to turn it back to the long side, and we're going to make a couple of score lines. We're going to score at 1 1/4. Now, make sure you move that cutting blade out of the way. At 5 1/2, and we're going to score at 9 1/2. So, just move it on over. Now, let's put up our trimmer. Look at how we fold this. We are going to take this center line and we're going to fold it over to the left, and we're going to give it a good crease. Now we're going to open it back up, and on this score line right here, we're going to fold it into the middle. And this score line on the left, fold it down and give it a good crease. Let's put up our card. And now when you close this, do you see how these 2 flaps, one's a little bit shorter than the other one? Let's look at that one more time. So open up your card, and on this right-hand side, fold it to the left. We're also going to take this middle line, and we're going to just fold it to the right. And then we're going to fold this score line down so that it tucks underneath. That's important. They need to look just like that. And now what we need to do is go ahead and cut our 2 squares that create our triangle flaps. So let's go ahead, and I cut 2 squares. Now these squares are 3 3/4 and 3 1/2. So you can see that one is a little bit smaller than the other one. Now you can go ahead and use pattern paper for this. I wanted to go ahead and just use cardstock. What we need to do is take these and cut these diagonally. So bring in your trimmer. Now, a little trick on Stampin' Up's trimmer. I go ahead and I put my point all the way up into this little canal right there. Let me get in closer to show you. You see this little area right here? I just put it right at the tip, and it lines it up for me perfectly. And then I can just go ahead and cut it. So we're going to slice. And we have our 2 pieces. Now I'm just going to put that to the side, and I'm going to do the same thing right here. So let's go ahead and just put it right at the top and slice. And we have our 2 pieces. Now you are going to need to create 2 more squares, because these squares are going to go on the top. Instead of using patterned paper, I wanted to use an embossed design. But you do need the flaps that go on the very bottom as the bottom mat. So we have our 3 1/2 inch square and our 3 3/4. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to anchor that point right at the top, and then we know we have it in the canal, and we're going to slice. Just put that at the top. And now we're going to do that to our 3.5, anchor it at the top, and slice. And now we have all of our squares cut. Let me show you how that goes together. Bring in your silicone mat, and that is so you don't get glue anywhere. We're going to bring in our larger triangle, the 3 3/4, and we're going to anchor it right here on the bottom flap, this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring in my glue, and I'm just going to put a little line of glue right here at the top. Now I'm just going to anchor this with about 1/8 of an inch right there. We're just going to put it just like that. Now we're going to take this other flap, fold it down, and we're going to bring in our smaller triangle, and we're going to put it right on top. Look how pretty that is. It gives a very nice margin between these two triangles. So let's go ahead and put our line of glue right here on the top flap. Just a small, or you can just add some dots, little dots of glue. You can also use a tape runner, but I want to be able to wiggle just in case I need to get it. You want to make sure and line those points up. That's what's very important on this. So we're just getting that. Use our dancing fingers. And now we have our flaps. Now is when you bring in either your patterned paper square or your embossed square. Now this is the larger one, so I'm just going to add it just like this. Look at that. And when you put this flap down, you can see that just a little bit. So let's go ahead and just get some glue on this. I'm just going to give me a little border. I want just a little white border right there. Now we're going to close this flap, and you're going to bring in the smaller square that you cut, and we're going to put that. Now this way you are already set to make another card. So you already have those triangles ready to go. So let's go ahead and just add this. Just love this double envelope flap. This is going to be the card to make. I know it. It is so pretty and so easy and quick. You can jazz it up or you can keep it simple. Love this card. Now, let me show you the paper that we selected. We chose Turtley Cute for this striped and then also for this beautiful design right here. We are also using, for the embossing folder, we chose Turtle Texture. Look at that, so pretty. And for our sentiments, we're using You're the Best and Friends Like You Are Golden from Creative Haven. Now, we always say use what you have, but if you like these materials and you want the measurements, make sure you head on over to creativemomentsbyg.com. In our blog, they'll be there. As well as I'm going to put the supplies and materials below this video so you can check on that as well. The next thing that we want to do is we want to cover up this front panel, and I wanted to go ahead and have some stripes. So I showed you that paper that I used from that packet. Just love stripes. So we're just going to put this, we're not going to double mat it, although you can if you want to put all kinds of double mats, but I think that is so pretty. Look at that. Just beautiful. Now we do want to cover this up right here. And this is where I cut those beautiful strips. Now those strips are 5 1/4 by 1. And this mat right here on the front is 5 1/4 by 3 3/4. But remember, all those measurements are over on our blog. Just add a little bit of glue. Let's open up this flap and just add this. We're making sure that we have the same margin right here, top and bottom and side. Now we're going to close that and just put our strip on the top. We kept, because it does have a double flap, the mats to a minimum. Like I said, you can double mat, but that's just going to add to the weight of the card. And it is so incredibly beautiful. Oh my goodness. So now all we need to do is decorate this area right here. And let me show you what we're going to do. I have selected this paper. Now look at that. So pretty. And I'm going to stamp on it. It's light enough to stamp, and I'm going to stamp that big message. Now, this one goes on the bottom. This one is a little bigger, and it goes right in the middle. And this is where I want the message to be. So let's go ahead and bring in our Knight of Navy. A little tip, because this is a large stamp, I'm going to take the ink pad to the stamp. And I'm just going to line this up and stamp it. And look at that. You have plenty of room to write. This is very light, so you'll be able to write your message. But if you wanted to, you could always put another piece of white paper there. But I don't think it needs it, but you can certainly do that. Just going to add a little bit of glue. Center that top to bottom, side to side. And we're just going to cover up this area as well. That gives them plenty of room to write. Now all we need to do is add something to the front. And look at what we've done. We've taken this stamp set, and the dies are like this. They have all different labels that you can cut out. So we stamped this, has a little hole there for a ribbon or some thread. We are going to add this right here and then put a little ribbon on the top. Now I'm going to add this on some dimensionals. I just took the backing off the dimensionals, and I'm going to add this right on the top. Just like this. Oh. And now I created a cute little bow. Oh, I love that ribbon. It's spruce colored, and I'm just going to add a little glue dot on the back. So just another little tip. If you haven't watched our short on how to make this, we just took some ribbon and tied around the spool, and that way it keeps it nice and neat for us. So we're just going to take off a glue dot. I'm going to put it right on the back of our ribbon, our cute little bow, and we're going to add that to the very top. And look at this. Oh my goodness. Look at how beautifully that opens up. Plenty of room to write. You don't need a belly band to close it. It is just so pretty. Oh, we just love this design. This double envelope flap. There are so many possibilities. But are you ready to make another card, another variation, just something to give you some inspiration on different ways you can create this card? Let's do it. We are going to bring in Poppy Parade. Don't you just love this color? It's kind of an orange red. We're going to bring in our trimmer, and once again, we are going to cut it on the long side to 10 3/4. Now we're going to turn it on the short side, and we're going to cut it at 5 1/2. And this fits perfectly in an envelope. And now we just have some score lines we need to make. We're going to score at 1 1/4, 5 1/2, and 9 1/2. Now for this one, we are using mixed media florals. Oh, there's just so many different colors and different designs in this packet. So remember what we do. We're going to take our right-hand side and we're going to fold in. We're going to take this middle part and fold to the right. And then we're going to fold this one to the left. Let's give them a good crease. Slip this one under and we have our double flap. Now let's do just a little bit of decorating. Now make sure you stay with us because I have an additional card to show you. Plus I want to show you how I put a gift card in our first card. So we have this. So the first thing we're going to do is we cut our designer series paper or our pattern paper, and we're going to put this right on the front. Oh, so pretty, and it coordinates just beautifully with that poppy parade. And that's really why we love the paper so much from Stampin' Up, because it coordinates so perfectly. That way you don't have to think about it, right? Makes designing so much more enjoyable and therapeutic. We all have our therapy, right, in card making. So the next thing we want to do is go ahead and cut our triangles. So we know to do that, we need 2 squares that are designed. You can use pattern paper or you can emboss it. And we use that Forever Plaid Beautiful Embossing Folder. The size of our squares are 3 3/4 and also 3 1/2. And then we just took some Poppy Parade and we cut those squares the exact same size. So let's go ahead and bring in our trimmer one more time and let's get these cut. Now the trick on a Stampin' Up is to use this little guide up here. Lock that into that area and just slice. Works perfectly every time. We're just going to put all these 4 squares in and slice. Now we want to bring in our large square triangle, right? The large square that we cut into a triangle. Bring in your silicone mat and let's get this laid down. So on this first one right here, we're going to go ahead and we're just going to put a little bit of glue right at the end. Once again, you can use a tape runner. You could use double-sided tape if you wanted to. But we're just going to put this, and we're going to, you can't put it right at the bottom, so we're going to put it about 1/8 from the edge. This edge right here. So let's just go ahead and get that lined up. And let's do our other one. So we're just going to bring in our silicone mat and bring in our smaller triangle. That's going to go on top. Just put a little bit of glue and line that right up. Now, you want to make sure that you get those points in the same place. And there we have it. You can see those points are lined up. Okay, the next thing we want to do is bring in our smaller square that we cut into a triangle, and let's go ahead and lay it on top. And then we'll do the same thing to the larger triangle. Now, these are 3D embossing folders, so you need to put enough glue to get in those crevices. And then you need to push hard enough so that it really adheres to your card, right? To that flap. We're going to make sure our points line up. Everything's lining up perfectly. We're going to add our strips to the top of our card on the inside and on the outside, making sure that our margins are about the same. And now we're going to do this one. And now we need to decorate the two inside areas. We've already stamped happy birthday and we've used those beautiful flowers. These flowers are from the new stamp set that we have, Petals of Beauty. Just gorgeous. We use that happy birthday stamp from Encircled with Love. And then on the front, we're using this beautiful stamp from Paper Tags. But all these supplies will be listed below this video and also on our blog. So let's go ahead and get these two adhered together. And then this is going to go right in the middle of our card. Now on this, we took some Flirty Flamingo and we embossed it. We stamped those beautiful flowers and we cut out the leaves, and we're just going to add them underneath our beautiful flowers. And now we're going to add this right to the bottom. Look at how pretty that looks. Oh my goodness, just gorgeous. And here we go. Let's shut it. Now we just need to decorate the top, and we already have this beautiful sentiment ready to go. We added it to some Poppy Parade with some dimensionals on the back. Just going to add it right to the front. Now, another idea for this is you could just make this white or a very light colored, and you could stamp your message right on the front, not to worry. But look at this. Just love this card. So easy to create, but creates that wow effect. We have our two that we created today. Take a moment and leave a comment. Which is your favorite? I think they're both so pretty. They're just a little bit different. Now, I said I was going to discuss this with you as well. This one has a gift card in it right here. We just put it right at the top, and you can add your gift card right there. You have plenty of room to write here, but you could also write a little something right there. This is just another idea. Now, finally, we did a Christmas card. Look at this. So pretty. Added that cute little bow. It's a die cutout. Added that gold in the background. So easy. We love it. Easy and uses our patterned paper. Just the perfect card, right? Well, we hope that you were inspired by this double envelope flap card and that you take a moment to share this inspiration with one of your crafty friends. As always, Maudie and I want you to go out and make it a fantastic day. And until next time, we're wishing you lots of creative moments. Bye-bye.